Hello, everybody. Welcome to my weekly Meltdowns coverage rewatch of Survivor Heroes vs. Villains, season 20 on Netflix. The best season of all time, if you will. We are here. Allison, of course, is here as always. How are you doing, Allison?
Great. How are you? I'm staying. Can we just do the show? It's just skip all this crap because I'm focused.
I see what you're doing.
Oh yes, I see what she's doing.
I'll get to it when I'm ready, Allison. I'll get to it.
Okay, fine, but I'm still. Let's go.
I had no idea what you were doing for a second. Wait, what?
Is the show annoying to you?
Is this annoying? What?
I'll get to it when I'm ready, brother.
You're doing all right. I'm doing good, ready.
I had no idea you were doing a bit for a second there. I was like, okay. Happy to see you too, Allison. But I guess that's just the Colby effect. Beth, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I want to thank Matthew over here for filling in for me last night for the challenge. I was very fatigued and I'm feeling a lot better today. So I'm happy to chat a little bit about heroes versus villains. Yes. Some of one of the most iconic episodes, I think, in Survivor history.
Yes, exactly. And Matt, how are you doing today? How was your birthday yesterday? It feels like we just talked.
I feel like we were just here.
It's because I was. It went well yesterday. I was glad to fill in for Beth because I always have a blast when I hang out with Allison and Tyler.
Aww.
And not so much
I
when
feel
you
like
hang
that's
out
like
with
the
Beth.
first nice thing that you've said about
I hang out with you, Beth enough that
Too much, yeah.
The wanderlust has worn off.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
But so we have a lot to get into, so we're gonna just jump right in. So Suri gets blindsided, taken out by the idol, played by Tom, and they get right back to camp, and JT tells everybody, I did this for the team. I didn't do it for me. I did it for the team, y'all. And nobody's buying it. Everybody's seeing that JT is just sliding like right back into the middle. Nobody really trusts JT. He tells Amanda that he didn't do it for Tom and Colby. He's trying to play both sides, and even Amanda, who is like not the sharpest tool in the shed this season, she's like, no, I don't believe this for a second.
Did you say this season?
Yeah, well, yeah, every season that Amanda is in, bless her heart. Yeah, I mean, GT is like on the bottom with Colby, and I feel like Candace is not far behind either. She did a lot of meddling around camp, like this week in particular, like trying to save Tom. And honestly, I don't blame Candace for trying to do it. We'll get into it, but like James, like he has a pretty serious injury during that. It was a reward challenge, right? It wasn't even a community challenge.
It was like the first 30 seconds of the reward challenge.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Can we talk about the fact that Colby is sitting out? Why can't he replace James in the
That is exactly what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the game doesn't change. You just switch James and Colby. Like, I didn't get
I don't
why
understand
the heroes
why they
had
had
to
to
be
play him down.
I'll tell you why. Colby's attitude. No, you're not. No. You want to sit out, not have. First of all, you bitch. Because there's chocolate being passed around. Then I want to get to the challenge. Let's just get it. And then you sit your ass out.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a lot of damn sense, Colby. It's like Superman's in a fat suit and a girdle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like James said.
That has to be one of the best analogies I have ever heard on Survivor for a returning player.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit.
But yeah, so like Jeff like gives them like a taste of chocolate, right? Like, and I feel like that's a very weird reward, is like just chocolate. I feel like, once you get a little taste like that, but having a whole reward centered around chocolate, like I feel like that goes I feel like you've had enough like pretty easily, right? So they did a lot of like really physical challenges back in Survivor 20. I feel like this is something we really don't see in Survivor anymore, is like how like tough and physical, and like just the risk of like all of these like medevacs basically, because it's not even just James, you know, Rupert like literally like tosses Jerry over the side.
Was that?
It was terrible.
That? It's like you just. It's like it's like Tyler and I are in a challenge, and the challenge is over, and Tyler's he just throws me. I've been waiting to do this for 3 years. Just get out of here.
Yeah, and she like smacks her head like on like a post, right? And Rupert's like, "Oh, I didn't mean to do that."
This season was not good for Rupert. Like, I think he should have just skipped coming on this season.
Beth, we can't hear you. Are you muted?
I am muted.
Whoops.
I hit my button by accident. Sorry about that.
Okay.
No, I was just going to say, like, it makes no sense. It makes no sense at all, like, why he would even do that, because there wasn't even, like, a little ball thing near them, I don't think, right?
Right.
I think he took the ball from her and then decided to whip her into the post.
I just, like, my other favorite part of this, for Rupert's sake, is we get to the point in the episode where he goes, well, I mean, if we were going to get people out of this island because they were injured, you guys should have gotten rid of me first. And it's like, no shit, Sherlock. If I was Candace, I would have been like, yes, we should have gotten rid of you first.
I mean, he's given them all here. I can't run. I can't do anything. I obviously toss women for no reason in my spare time. I mean, she didn't. Can we just talk about how Jerry just doesn't have a bruise, nothing on her?
I'm shocked she did not get.
I mean, this is a direct comparison to how good the villains are compared to how bad the heroes are. So this is after James like fucks up his leg or whatever. Jerry gets whacked and she just like brushes it off and she's like, it's fine. And she keeps going, you know, like these heroes are such like, honestly, morons. You know, like every time they zoom into Rupert, when they're like strategizing, he always has this face like, oh, I don't know. And like that perfectly sums up like how just like dumb the heroes are, that like they have gotten themselves into this situation, right? So like even after like James like screws up his leg, Rupert still has this broken toe, and they still vote out Tom here. And I just like, I cannot comprehend like why they did this. And it just goes to show like how toxic these pre-existing relationships can be, right? Because that's literally the only reason that they're keeping James at this point.
Yeah. I want to say hi to Sam Higdon. I believe you're new here. I just want to say welcome. Thank you for engaging and the suggestions in the chat. So thank you. And Valencia and Delfrin and Gio Santoli.
Yep, that's my little cousin.
Okay. You don't want me trying to pronounce
Big Brother 8 is one of the best Big Brother seasons. Danny is so underrated. Yes, that opinion is very welcomed here. Thank you.
Want to hear it.
Listen, Sam, we fight a lot about Big Brother.
Yes, that's true. But so that reward happens. James gets something. I don't know what it was. Was it like a tendon that he like pulled?
I don't think they ever said what he actually was hurt with.
No, yeah, they don't. Remember, he comes back and they go, they don't really know what's happening, but they sent me back. My favorite part about all of that is you have Amanda going, I don't know what I'm gonna do without James.
Oh my god, that dramatic like running to him on the beach. Like,
no. The best is you have a guy who can't walk, and they make him walk.
Yeah, they're gonna walk down the beach.
Down a beach. Have you guys walked on a beach? It's hard to walk on a beach comparatively.
Yeah.
So then they're like, all right, James, we're going to drop you off about half mile away from camp. Why don't you make a walk so that Amanda can make this dramatic thing?
Willie in the chat says, hello, Willie Hance. He said he tore his Achilles.
Ooh.
Did he? Okay.
I
Googled, like I was looking on James's wiki to see if I could find out what actually happened, and there was nothing there. So
wait, isn't your Achilles in your ankle area?
I don't know what he did.
If
people with PhDs can't tell me what the F is done, I don't even know what they're doing there. All I could hear is the Titanic theme song when Amanda's running down the beach for him.
It was ridiculous.
It's ridiculous for a variety of reasons. One, Amanda has done nothing but string James along in an alliance and screw him over every chance she gets. So all she can think is I don't have another move.
Mhm.
If he goes on his own accord, what do I do? But let's be honest here. The other part of this, which is, I mean, let's give her some props for having the personal relationship. This is their third season in like 6 seasons that these guys have played together. And this is, Sam brings up the point that says, I'm surprised James has not come back for another season.
Was he
They
not?
overused James and Amanda. They did 3 seasons almost essentially in a row. 2 of them really were in a row. And James got injured in 2 of them. One of them brought him out of Micronesia.
Yep.
And then he comes back in this one and he's almost taken out.
That's probably why James has not done another one. Is in the past 2 seasons he's come back, he has hurt himself in some way, shape, or form.
He could die. What's in it? He's going to die if he comes back.
Do we really need to see James back? I feel like after this season, like,
I like his analogy.
We've got it.
This episode was all we really needed out of James, was because we got some really good quotes out of him, and I don't know if he could top that. But I think James has the worst track record of any Survivor player of all time. And I don't mean in terms of when he placed. I mean, he literally goes out with 2 idols in his pocket the first time, and then he gets injured the second time, gets taken out, and the third time he gets injured, and then they vote him out when a time after they should have, because they pitied him.
Yeah, I mean, that's somebody I don't think we need to see a 4th time for, so speaking of, Sam actually says in the chat, like, did you know they weren't going to do winners first, but they had a different idea for season 40. So rewatching this season has really made me angry that Tom was not back for Winners at War.
We have an update from Willie. Per Russell, it wasn't his Achilles. He had to get surgery on his knee. And you know what? Leon and Willie, knee injuries are no joke, man.
My mom had a pretty bad knee injury that she was lucky she didn't need surgery for.
That's a joke.
Yeah,
listen, y'all, I just can't talk about my injury today. Can I talk about it for 1 second? I had a Survivor injury. I had my blood sugar tested today in my thumb, and it hurt really bad. And I had to take a picture and send it. Okay, continue.
No. Let's unpack that just slightly more. Every time Allison has something serious going on in her life, she just says, y'all, and leaves Tyler
and I have a heart attack.
She's like, oh no.
I'm like, oh my God, who died? Like, what am I? Oh my God.
This is why I'm glad I'm a guest.
He literally comes back with, they had to take my blood sugar, and it is the most painful thing. I thought I was going to die. It cued the tiniest little prick of a hole I've ever seen on a thumb.
It was 103, by the way.
And this is my face when she sends that picture. No. So I do want to talk about Tom here because I really feel like Tom did everything he could. He played the idol to get Suri out, tried to turn the tide, but like, these people, like this tribe, the Heroes tribe, is just so fucking dumb. Like it's true. It really is. And I feel bad for Candace because like she wants to do something here. Like she wants to take out James here, but she knows that she doesn't have the votes, so she doesn't go for it. And I respect that. A lot of people say that she was a little like weak for like not like voting him out anyway. But when you don't have the votes, like we see this in Big Brother every year, but like none of us call them like wusses when like it's like the writing's on the wall, right? And I just don't understand, like when you have James, when you have Rupert, like 2 guys that are like not doing anything for the tribe, you have like every person counts on this tribe. Like you are in like such a bad shape, and we know that like they don't swap like the entire season, right? Like you are with this tribe until the merge, and it just gets worse and worse every week for these people. And what's crazy is like, so we see like the tribal council like for the villains is like so complex, like all of these different like dynamics coming into play. Like Russell finds the idol in this episode, which we'll talk about too, and we compare that to banana etiquette. And I want to get Allison's take on banana etiquette, and I actually have a background of bananas while Allison tells me what she thinks, because this is like how dumb the Heroes are. Is like we're talking about banana etiquette at Tribal Council with Jeff Probst.
Okay,
it's kind of like strategy.
They're walking and they show James yank a banana off bunch of. It's not like they've got 2 or 3 bananas hanging. It's a bunch of freaking bananas. He can have a banana. Okay.
No. I would like to. He did grab like 3 of them.
Okay. Well, I'm blind as you know what without my glasses on, so it looked like he snatched one. Okay, but yeah, I mean, you need to share. But I'm not worried about bananas because if I'm eating bananas on an empty stomach, that does things to my digestive tract that I'm a lady. I'm not going to talk about, but it gives me the goopy poopies. Okay. So I'm not concentrating on the bananas.
The goopy poopy.
The goopy poopies. Okay. That's what my son used to say he had when he was constipated when he was really little. Anyway, but I don't really give a shit about bananas. I'm trying to save my life in this game, and you're trying to tell me during tribal council the only thing that you've got to get me out of here is some effing bananas? I don't care.
My thing about this, though, is that this is clearly, at the end of the day, Survivor is a social game, which is why the Villains Tribe is just like so much better than the Heroes Tribe, is that they know how to maneuver a game socially. And we'll get to everything that, Russell and Parvati put together later. But in this particular vote, we're literally talking about James saying, I didn't know that there was a banana code where you got to get somebody else a banana, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, it's not about grabbing bananas for other people. It's the fact that he can't do anything around camp and all he's doing is eating their food source and he can't compete in competitions. He's a big guy. So it's like him bringing up the banana code thing is really funny, but it's not really the point. The point here is, hey, you're a big guy who takes up a lot of resources and we're not getting our bang for our buck out of it right now, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So,
is this island not covered in bananas?
I don't know.
And
they might have to climb for it, and he's not freaking climbing.
Right,
Well,
exactly. Yeah, and you also have to think too, like the villains are so far ahead in terms of like their numbers that like they can afford to sit out Sandra, they can afford to sit out Courtney. Like the heroes like don't have like the fat to trim here in terms of like the big guys and like their place in terms of like doing these challenges. Imagine if they had that like big cube challenge where like they're like doing all that heavy lifting. Imagine if James and Rupert, Rupert did sit out of that one. But like that just goes to show like how much of a mess this tribe is. Like I feel like you have a question you're about to ask, Allison.
No, because I'm still stuck on the banana thing. Like you want to sit there and throw that up in James's face during tribal council. If I were James, I'd be like, who is sitting on the island crying, moping, throwing in the towel? Colby, who's sitting in the water like this with all by myself, playing in the background? It's Colby. Send his butt home. Okay, it's just time. And at least with James, he's trying. The damn guy is running down the beach trying to prove, listen, I'm not in pain, but I'm dying. But I get that the tribe wants to win, and you've got to make that sacrifice. So I get both sides, but Colby's done. Yeah. He's just done. Okay, I'm sorry, Tyler. Go ahead.
I mean, also to be fair, James beat Colby in that rope climb obstacle. Colby was dead effing last when Candace finished.
Yeah,
you got your ass kicked by a cripple, and, like James said, Colby got his ass kicked by a cripple and a fat dude.
It's true, but like that just goes to show like there is a reason to like vote off like every single person in this tribe. Like it's such a mess, and then like on top of that, you have these pre-existing relationships that are like locking shit in, where like you can't make the best tribe possible because like Amanda and James are just like so interwoven with each other. It's a shame because I feel bad for the Candaces of this tribe, who come out of the season kind of looking weak when I don't think that that's true at all.
And let's just talk about Candace for a second. First of all, as I've said before, I feel like we get to see more and more of like the strong, independent Candace person that, or like character. Even when she gets out first in Blood versus Water, like she literally like, or not first, but like second, because technically Rupert is first because he's a dumb bitch. But anyway, you didn't need that season to know. Love you, Rupert, but my goodness. Anyway, but Candace has this fierce, independence and isn't afraid to come up against people in Blood versus Water. And I think a lot of that has to do with the frustration she goes through with this particular tribe. Mm-hmm. And then I also just want to do a shout out. I don't know if anybody saw it, but Candace did get the vaccine.
I saw that.
For COVID. Yeah. She's a doctor. So was her husband, John, who was also on Blood versus Water. They were the two that competed together. She's 35 weeks pregnant, got the vaccine. She's going to pass the antibodies on to her baby. But just congratulations, first of all, to the Codys. And also they were two really vocal survivor community members in the very beginning of the pandemic. They did some stuff with Rob Has a Podcast. They did some other things where they were just trying to provide information and advice and those kind of things. And they've been consistently great heroes, honestly. Yeah. When we talk about heroes versus villains, those are some true heroes. So I just wanted to throw that little shout out there for the Codys.
Yeah, no, I was going to mention that too. So thank you for pointing that out.
Sorry, I beat you to the punch.
No, it's okay. I'm glad you did because it's very important. And John Carroll also just looks very good. Or not John Carroll, John Cody. John Cody. But all right, so let's go to the villain tribe because Russell finds the idol. So
what's going on when he finds it?
Go ahead, Allison.
Coach Chi.
Mm-hmm.
As he called it, which I thought was the funniest freaking thing. I don't remember the name Coach Chi, but I watched that and I literally choked on the drink, which was a seltzer.
And this is right after Tyson tells Coach in private, listen, do your Tai Chi in private. Stop telling these stories. Nobody believes them. And what does Coach do? He does the total opposite. He leads a group Tai Chi. And Russell's like, fuck that. I'm not doing that. I'm going to go find the idol. And he finds the idol. And so at the reward challenge, or at the, not the challenge, but the actual reward, he tells Parvati that he has the idol. And I just, it's so baffling to me how Russell thinks that he's so in control of this entire tribe. But honestly, it's really Parvati because he gave that information up to her so quickly. And really that puts her in the driver's seat too. And then right after that, he tells Coach that he has the idol as well. So now I feel like everybody knows. But I feel like Coach is a really good person to tell this to because loyalty is so huge to Coach, right? That's all you need to flip Coach from the Rob side of things over to the Russell side of things. And it works. We see Coach right in confessional, right after that being Russell told me he has the idol, so I really believe him. And, that loyalty really goes a long way to me in this game.
I really need you to put a feather on a string and hang it over your ear like this.
And my notes literally say that trust is so huge for Coach. What a sucker. Because
wait, should we knight you, Tyler? Should we
yeah, that's true. Oh my God. Embarrassing.
I will challenge one part of that, which is I really do think that I don't think that Russell has control of the tribe yet. But he definitely, with the help of Parvati, understands the dynamics of the tribe way better, which part of that is he's at an advantage that nobody really knows what he does, right? He hasn't had an opportunity to really to really show himself yet. And you get classic Boston Rob being really cocky about, no, you're in the big leagues now. You got to come up against one of the best. I'm one of the best.
Oh my God, that accent.
Got that, So what I love about watching Russell this time around is how much he can cut through the bullshit because he's just as, if not slightly more strategically sound, but he's also smart that he has someone like Parvati to bounce this off of because Parvati is also incredibly strategic and she's incredibly social and he lacks some of the social.
Yeah.
But she can help in that regard. So she's the one that really helps him with the Coach idea. But I really think that this move in particular is all Russell. It's when you start, but this sets up Parvati to have more power in that duo, in my opinion. I think this episode in particular, we see, this is the rise of Russell.
For sure. No, and that's totally fair that like both of them have their moments where like they have their moves that like they can claim as their own. But like we see later in the season, Parvati doesn't tell Russell that she has the idol,
Right.
and he gave away that information so easily. So it's
Does she still have it?
what's that?
Does Parvati
She doesn't
still
have it yet.
She doesn't have it yet.
okay.
This is like foreshadowing to the future to show.
Okay.
Yeah. Russell has the idol.
Okay.
I would also agree with Beth. I don't think Parvati has the control right now because it's Russell's influence that flips Tyson to vote for Parvati.
Right.
And I don't think Parvati could have convinced Tyson to vote for Russell.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think I don't think they could flip roles and try to get the other person out.
Who
Well,
voted
that's the
for
thing.
Tyson?
Hmm?
Who voted for Tyson?
Well,
Danielle.
Parvati and Russell.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was supposed to be a 3-3 split, but Tyson
3-3-3 split.
convinced by Russell that he was going to vote for Parvati, switches his vote to Parvati, thus it's 4-2 between Parvati and Russell. Parvati places the idol that Russell gives her.
And so what Tyson is thinking in that situation, well, if I also vote for Parvati, we can flush Russell's idol out because he said he's going to play it and he's going to vote for Parvati and also get the person I prefer, which is Parvati over Russell out. So what he's thinking is, oh, great, there'll be 5 votes on Parvati. The second highest would be Russell. And, there we go. But,
Yeah.
Or it would be a tie
we
between
also-
him and Russell if
We also have to say, like, so Rob's the one that concocts this 3-3 split. He says, just in case the idol gets played, because Sandra did see him like going looking for the idol. So like everybody assumes at this point that Russell does have the idol, and Rob straight up tells him, if you don't have the idol, you better go find it, buddy, because you're gonna need it. And I love that power flex on Russell because it's really trying to say like, listen, I'm the top dog around here, and I'm not gonna like be fooled by you, which actually does come true. But yeah. So Rob says like this: if we do this plan, it can't go wrong. It's a 3-3 split. Even if the idol's played, it goes to a tie, and then we have the votes on the tiebreaker. But then we see Tyson talking to Russell after. And Tyson's like, man, I really want to get Parvati out. Like she's a big threat. That kind of cues Russell that like maybe Tyson should flip his vote to take out Parvati. And that's where it all goes wrong. Russell then plays the idol on Parvati instead of him, knowing that Parvati now has 4 votes to go. So because of that, Russell only has 2 votes. And so Russell, Danielle, and Parvati put their votes on Tyson. Tyson goes out. And I got to say, I really think that Tyson really does a lot of soul searching in terms of like who he is in this game, because I feel like he really looks like a fool going out of the season, basically voting himself out. And honestly, I think he's lucky that he even gets asked back for Blood versus Water, because
here's a take. I think this move is the best move for Rob and Tyson in the future, because I don't think Rob wins Redemption Island without realizing if I don't keep people in mind to my plan, they're going to do stupid things. And Tyson had his motivation for Blood versus Water to go out and win.
Mm-hmm.
I think what's nice, I think there's a lot of truth to there too. I think that Rob learns from Russell. I think Tyson learns from Russell. And who's the other person that I honestly think that this is and Parvati learns from Russell. Parvati learns in this season what to do. She's like, okay, well, he gave me this information, so I'm not going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? So, but Rob takes his ability to kind of run a tribe, which he's already powerful enough to do. But I really think he took notes from Russell in this season and then applied that, and then also had the benefit of having a ridiculously dumb cast to play with.
Right.
To win. And I think that Tyson had a way more adept cast that he was with. Plus you have the added challenge of playing Blood versus Water. And on top of that, Tyson is somebody that just, I think he loves being entertaining. He likes being the center of entertainment. But I think that was going to be his 3rd time playing. And he went in not necessarily caring if he won, but Rachel, his wife, his girlfriend, fiance at the time, now his wife, gets out so early that he's like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna pull this out. I'm gonna scrap, and there are ways to get out of situations and run this tribe." And I think a lot of that comes from how he sees Russell and Parvati play this game and how that came against him. If you don't feel so hard, you might not do as well in the future.
Yeah, but
That's right.
I have to say, like, do they even need to learn from this, right? Like, say Tyson doesn't flip his vote to Parvati, and Russell still plays the idol for Parvati instead of himself.
Russell's gone.
Russell goes out here, and then Parvati is probably next behind him. So I honestly think like we could be looking at a Rob win this season, or Tyson, if that. What, you don't think so, Matt?
I don't think so, because I think the heroes, I think they still potentially march in at a 5-5 at the merge, and JT's not going to be stupid enough to give Rob an idol. Because JT's going to find the idol.
Yeah.
Like, it's honestly, I'm going to say this, and you can disagree with me all you want, but I'm probably right. Sandra still wins this season.
You're absolutely right, Matthew. That's why
I love you, Allison.
I love you, Matthew.
But the only reason I say that is because she would still have Rob's loyalty, but she could easily flip to the heroes and maneuver her way through that middle ground and be treated still sort of as a GOAT player. She's not threatening to anyone.
But
she's not getting voted out by anyone as like a first priority.
I think it's safe to say a villain wins this season, even if Russell goes out here and Parvati not that far after. Just knowing how the boot order is and how the events work, I don't see a capacity for a hero to do well enough to win at the end. I can see a hero making it to the end, but I don't see them winning.
I totally agree, Beth. I think that like the heroes are just like totally incapable of getting their shit together and pulling one over on the villains. We did that like time and time again. So like even if Russell's not here, I think that a villain does win. If it's Sandra, if it's Rob, I think it still goes to them. So very different season though.
Am I the only one that when they're watching this show, it's been so long since I watched it, that when I'm watching the villain, like I get the tribes mixed up. Like I think when I'm watching the heroes tribe, it's the villains tribe, and I'm like, oh wait, no, okay, there's Russell. Like I just get confused. And I love Russell, don't get me wrong, but it's just it's like, how did some of these people end up in? I don't know. How is Rob a villain?
I think after
because of All Stars. Because of All Stars. Because of how Lex and Kathy get voted out in All Stars.
Right.
That makes Rob a villain.
Yeah. Because like back then in Survivor, like you didn't like screw over your friends. And Kathy and Lex took that very personally. And Rob said, like, it is what it is. Like I have to get myself further in the game, even if it means like screwing over my friends.
Tech the Pup. Welcome, Tech the Pup. I felt like when I watch Hero versus Villains or like Brains versus Brawn stuff, like they messed up on the placements.
I mean,
like I agree.
Well, yeah, totally. I mean, like they always say that like we cast the season first, and then we kind of like make the theme around like who the cast is,
right?
But
I think that these special returnee seasons are a little different in that regard, where they say, okay, who are we want this particular thing, but who can we get back? And I think what they do is they load a couple of ideas, and then based on who they say yes. They kind of chop it up that way. Yeah. Another point I just want to make about this too. If Russell goes here, Parvati might not be the next one out. And here's the reason why. James still goes. She now has Cirie and James out of the game. And their biggest issue with her is that she has so many connections on the other side. So she does still kind of have Candace because they played Cook Islands together. And she has Amanda. And with how the events go relatively soon, she's not going to hang up with Amanda for much longer either. So I honestly think that she's a strong enough social player to be able to say, like, who am I going to go to on the other side? They're voting out all the people I would go to. And you're spending so much time worrying about me and not worrying about some people who are legitimately making moves in our own tribe. Like, what is Sandra bringing to this? What is, like she can go down the line and say, what is Rob doing in order to make you guys, fall in line? And she would have to start with the players like Coach and Jerry. And of course, Jerry and her may not have the best relationship, but I think that that's where she has to start.
That's what I was gonna say, Beth, is like I think the attention more turns to Jerry and like who wins that battle between Parvati and Jerry. Because
I disagree.
Okay.
I will tell you you're both wrong.
Okay.
The attention falls on to Coach.
Real talk.
It falls onto Coach because Parvati will pick up Courtney and Sandra and convince them to like give her a 1-round pass. Because
and Danielle's going to be with her too.
Yeah, like there's at least 4 people on that tribe that could say, I want Coach gone because Parvati no longer has her connections because James is gone.
Let's not forget Courtney is connected to Amanda as well because of China.
Right.
Right. But I mean, like, it's the
who's going to vote out Courtney?
Mm-hmm. No one's going to, I mean, you shouldn't vote out Courtney.
Right. No, I think that that's a really good point, Matthew. I think that, the other thing that you could sit back and say is exactly what you're saying. Tyson just left, but there's still Coach and JT have a connection. So if we're going to play that game, let's look at the other people who have a lot of connections here. And I think that she can look to who's performing well in challenges, who's bringing what they need to. And that's why I'm saying she could put the attention if she needs to on a Sandra. She could put the attention if she needs to on a Courtney. I don't think it's her best move, but I'm putting it out there and saying that there is for her to do it.
I still think Parvati is the one targeted next. Russell like still plays the idol on Parvati, right? We don't need to really worry about like the strength of the tribe in terms of like keeping Parvati around when like James has like a broken leg, whatever. Rupert has a broken toe. Like Colby sucks at everything. Like I don't think that they're like that concerned that like Parvati is the one that's like winning these challenges for the villains tribe, especially when like Rob is still there. Coach is certainly good in competitions too. Tyson's still there too. And
Tyson's not there anymore.
Oh well, yeah. Tyson's
no, this is if Russell.
No, if Russell's voted out.
Tyson's technically there.
And like even before this vote, like during the Randy vote. Like during the Randy vote is like when people start talking about Parvati. Like that is like literally the entire episode. That's all anybody is talking about is like.
But they're also saying Parvati because Sari and James and blah 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 are over there. So you take James and Sari out, and she has a weakened position, and then you go, okay, you're literally going to let Tyson and Rob run the show here. You're going to let Tyson, Coach, and JT have a connection. You're going to say, okay, Courtney has just as much of a connection to Amanda as I do. Like, there are so many other, Rupert and Sandra. I mean, like, you could go through and say
Goldie and Jerry, like,
and Rupert and Rob. Like, there's so many other connections. So when you take even 2 connections away, suddenly Parvati's on equal playing field. And what you can point to and say is, we're crushing them in challenges. We don't have to worry about the strength. We need to worry about what is our position going into a merge. And I promise you, Courtney, Danielle, Sandra, whoever, you are bottom of the totem pole when it comes to, I promise you, Coach. I promise you, Jerry. I promise you, Tyson and Rob are going to run over you. We need to take them out now. And she's a smart and adept enough player. I think that she would be able to do that.
I think
so. Even after
Parvati, I think could make the all women's alliance. If Russell leaves, if she can go to Courtney and Sandra, pull them in, and basically go to Jerry and say, "Listen, do you want to play rocks?"
Right.
I don't see all of this happening when Rob is still here. It's like I think like Rob is gonna see that Russell plays the idol on Parvati. Like even if Russell's gone, like the fact that like Russell plays the idol on Parvati, that to me is like all Rob needs to know in terms of like where the loyalties lie, and I don't see that going off of Rob's radar after that happens.
Right.
What's that noise?
Nothing.
I don't hear anything.
It was somebody shouting something.
Okay. I just saw like an alerted look on Allison's face.
Listen, I'm just going to give some life advice. If
Please.
you shell out money for a new bed, Don't be the cheapskate who says, just deliver it. I'll put it together myself. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there. Pay the extra fee, because then your wife is doing a show and you're in the other room cussing and crying like a baby because you made a poor life decision. There you go.
Thank you for that. I needed to hear that today.
Accurate.
So one other thing I want to talk about is so part of the reward was the villains go to tribal council first, and then they get to eat hot dogs or whatever in front of the heroes watching their tribal council play out. And I'm curious how the season would change if the heroes had won and they got to listen in on the villains tribal council, because JT's perception of this, we'll see later that once JT gets the idol, he gives it to Russell because he thinks that the all women's alliance is happening and Russell's being targeted next, when that's totally not true at all, right? So if the heroes saw the dynamics of the villains tribe instead of vice versa, I wonder how that would have changed anything moving forward.
Hey,
There's something to think about.
what do y'all think about this?
There's no way Coach flips on Tyson.
Nally Rhett, welcome.
I think if Jerry flips, and I think that I think Coach can, but I think it rides on Jerry.
Yeah,
I think it rides on Jerry, or Coach is just not going to vote for Tyson. He'll take the apathy vote and he'll vote for who he really wants to go, even if he's not going to get his way.
Right. But I think that's a really good thought. I mean, I think it's going to take a lot for Coach to flip on a Tyson, but that's my whole point, right? I mean, we know that Parvati has a connection with Amanda and she has a loose connection with Candace. But at that point,
sorry, I'm just so frustrated at how all of this always goes back to Amanda.
Oh no, Parvati's strength actually might pick up when the villains see that Candace is on the bottom, because they see that tribal council and Tom and Candace and Colby are 1, 2, 3 for we dislike you on the advantage situation, because they don't see James get voted out.
Yeah. Right.
They don't see James get voted out. Tom's not there anymore, though. So
Tom's gone. So it's literally Colby and Candace are looked at as enemies 1 and 2.
Right.
If anything, they're looking at Candace as someone who could flip, and
they know that Candace
Parvati is the person who could potentially make that flip happen.
Yeah.
That's why I think Parvati's stock for the villains goes up if they're realizing we're marching in maybe at an even slate instead of a having a numbers advantage.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
I don't know. Who knows? But it's just so frustrating. Yeah, exactly. But that's what I love about the season, is that it's so layered that I love playing these hypotheticals. What happens if this person votes this? What happens if Tyson doesn't vote himself out? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's crazy how all of it.
Can I make a comment on something from Dolly Rhett saying, there's no way Coach flips on Tyson, but there are many ways that Tyson flips on Coach.
100%. Yeah.
This is not who I'm thinking Tyson will flip on Coach. Coach is not flipping on Tyson, but Tyson will gladly flip on Coach if it's going to bring him further along in the game.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really fair point there too. I think what I'm just basically saying is that Parvati's move after that turns into, there were people who have way stronger season connections, and she puts the spotlight on a Coach Tyson, and even saying Tyson and Rob really are the ones that are running the tribe. So Coach, you either vote for Tyson or your ass is gone, and they're voting for you. I think that's what ends up happening in one alternate universe. That's what happened.
Yeah, and so this is when we're going to start seeing Russell kind of rise into power here, because spoiler alert from 2010, Rob's the next to go here, and it's this is when
what he's messing with. This is my tribe. This is my game.
You know what though? I may need to be corrected. I looked at the timestamp, the year on it on Netflix. It says 2014.
No,
that's wrong. That was when Kagi.
To Google, I will go.
That was Kagi On, which is the other season that's on Netflix.
It's 2010.
It is? Okay, because then why does it say 2014?
Because Kagi On's the other season that's on Netflix, and that's when Kagi On came out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's right. That's
And the
correct.
show was actually filmed in 2009. It was in February 11th, 2010 is when it
Well, my
debuted.
hashtag is still because 2010.
Hell yeah.
Oh, thank you, Clark. Thank you, Clark. Oh, you're
February.
sassy. I love it. Look at you, little smiling face. Thank you, Clark. Love you.
I love the discussion. Yes, Dolly, we love your input as well.
Yes,
Thank you
thank
for sharing
you,
it.
everyone.
Yeah.
Did you guys collect the DVDs? That is such a flashback, throwback question, Sam. I never owned any of the DVDs, but I came close. I just recorded them on my own on the VCR when they came out and kept them for a few years.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how I did it. I'm that old.
So of course, like we see James get voted out too, but I think it's more than about time that James goes, and I'm glad that like Amanda like finally realizes like, listen, like even though like I have a great pre-existing relationship with him, like he's not going to turn his back on me, like. If we keep losing tribal council, like I won't be in the merge to begin with. So like at some point, like you have to cut him loose. So I think that they made the right decision here.
If you're James, wouldn't your smarter move not be to go and try to get people to vote for Colby, but rather say, let's talk about the other injured dude. Let's talk about Rupert.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is that really still an injury though? I mean, has it even come up lately that he's got a broken damn toe?
Rupert brings it up, which is enough of it to be an issue. If you're the
But
one
doesn't it
bringing
come
it
up
up,
in he mentions it before James does his foot race with JT. It's you can beat me because I have a broken toe and I'm like a larger dude.
messing with another person who has an injury.
I have a broken toe, but James can trot down the beach with the Achilles rip knee hole.
Well, I think it's a good question to ask, Allison, but like Rupert says right to the camera, he's like, what does he say? He's like, James is my ally. Colby is not. And I think that like that's like literally all it comes down to is that like James and Amanda both see that like Rupert is just gonna do whatever they want, and he's not gonna really think about anything like strategically.
The best part about that is so would Colby.
Right, exactly.
Colby
yeah.
literally will do anything, and even though he's playing like an old man, he would like. My whole point here is that if you're going to be James and they're going to vote you out because of an injury, you can't be like this other person is perfectly healthy and is just doing met and challenges because he already has the target on him. You could potentially get Colby as a number to vote for against Rupert, and Amanda will do what you want. Candace will just want someone injured to get the fuck out of the game. So she would vote that way. And JT doesn't want to go against anybody in the majority right now. So you could literally get people to vote for Rupert out here.
Yeah.
Like, honestly. I thought about this a lot the other day.
I also just had a realization why Allison gets the two tribes mixed up. It's because the heroes are so angry they look like villains, and the villains are actually having a good time that you assume they're the heroes. So
they're so angry.
Until you see Russell on your screen and realize that's the villains.
But they're so angry that like they're like pointing the finger at everybody else instead of like asking like where did I go wrong? Yeah, and I feel like the point of no return for the Heroes Tribe was voting Tom out. I think that like that is where it's done. You know, Tom is like the only like strategic thinker. Like, and of course he's like really good at challenges too.
I don't know if I would have said Tom is the strategic thinker. Tom
compared to the other heroes.
Of the group.
I would say
Tom
Tom
is the moral compass that focused to the group.
I think,
I think took that away, all focus went out.
I think Tom and Candace have the most team strategy, but Candace is too meek at this point, and she also has a fragile position. Tom almost had like a I have nothing to lose position, so he was able to voice it. And JT, like as we talked about, is playing a really good individual game at the beginning. But it's voting out Tom ruins him for the rest of the game. Like it honestly does.
It does. And the problem with that is like I feel like if Tom connected with Candace a lot sooner than his vote out, it could have gone differently. But Cirie went right to work on Candace as soon as Heroes versus Villains started, and it played out. Candace was really like wishy-washy instead of like going with Tom and going with Steph and all of that stuff. And it sucks because like Cirie did such a great job of like lining up the people that she needed to, even outside of her connections that she already had coming into the season.
Right.
And that's why like Tom like needed to target her with the idol, because like she was literally like the puppet master, getting like all of these people in line. Like even Rupert is just like,
I think if Tom had, here's an interesting thought. If Tom had gotten like Rupert out instead of Cirie, I think he could have brought Cirie onto his side with his like calm, more logical sense, because Cirie is a very logical player, in my opinion. And
I don't think if Tom would have. I think that Candace would have.
Yeah, Candace might have. I mean, one of the two of them would have pulled her in and said, listen, you can see the way the wind is blowing. It's not necessarily blowing in your favor.
Yeah.
We will gladly bring you in. We know you have connections on the other side that could be to our advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention, if they don't make Tom use his idol, they literally could go into the merge as a group having an idol at their disposal.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
They also could have had an idol as a group at their disposal if JT was
Nimrod. Yeah. Moron, but we will get to that. What, next week?
That would be next week.
Yeah.
Is this the infamous, what I'm thinking it is?
When he writes the note? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When
I don't remember how
when JT writes his love letter to Russell.
Yeah. But I can't wait to watch it again. It's been a while.
I watched it again today, and it was still as cringy then now as it was in 2010.
I have watched the scene of Parvati and Russell reading that on the beach so many times, but I can't remember the scenes preceding that of him writing it out or anything.
It's because you don't want to remember the scenes.
I don't want to, but I can't wait to just be able to come. I can't wait for Allison to go on a rant next week.
I need to watch it again. I haven't watched this season in a decade, and it's like I'm literally watching it all over again because I'm sitting there at the tribal council going, is it going to be James or Colby? I don't know. It's been 10 years, and I can't remember anything.
I kind of like that, though, Allison, that like, because like I feel like Beth and I, like we know this season like literally inside and out, but I feel like Allison, you're like watching this with like fresh eyes again, so it's fun to like see like your thoughts like throughout the season as well, because I feel like Beth and I have like the Wikipedia page for like the voting history like printed out in our mind.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I would also say this is why if you're new to our channel and you're enjoying what you're seeing, if you also like Drag Race, consider becoming a patron, because we're doing a similar thing with season 6 of Drag Race. Allison and Tyler have never watched Drag Race before. I'm like an encyclopedia of knowledge when it comes to it. And, you know, Matthew is one of our patrons and came up with a really great idea. Hey, what if you did this? And a lot of the other patrons also agreed. So if you like that kind of thing where you have people who have a mix of knowledge of the shows, definitely consider becoming a patron and checking out our Drag Race rewatch.
Yeah, and as one of the patrons who has watched it, it's a hoot.
Yeah, we share screenshots like.
I want to watch. I just want to watch an episode with you guys. Like, I just want to do a live watch.
We should do it. I have an idea. I think we can make a patron-only Discord and do a watch.
I mean, you could also do it on your Twitch channel, I believe, Beth. If it's an older season.
Freaking Alex Kidd will do it.
Lily Drag Race isn't on Amazon Prime on Twitch for a live.
I'd have to pay for it, which I don't want to do. But it's free. So yeah, you can't really do it on Twitch unless you're doing it through Amazon, and I'm not gonna buy it at this point. Sorry.
Yeah, I thought it was stupid to watch parties if it was free through Prime.
Oh, well, I'll have to check it out, but I don't remember. But regardless, what I was gonna say is doing it through my Twitch would also invite people who aren't patrons in.
That's true.
Watch. And if we were just to do a patron thing, we could do through Discord. But that's, we'll figure that out another time. But yes, we have some exciting stuff down the pipe, and this is gonna be exciting.
Yeah, so we cover Drag Race on Mondays, and then on Wednesdays we talk about the challenge. Allison, if you want to talk about that for a second.
Yes, we just started covering the challenge. We have a live after show at 9:30, 8:30 Central on Wednesdays. We come on live immediately after the show airs, give or take a few minutes. Tyler and I have, well, first of all, I have been watching just go ahead. I don't care. I'm going to fluff myself. Yep, let me tell you something. Take it all the way.
I don't know what that means, but
I don't know.
okay.
The challenge has been on for 20 plus years. Anyway, I've been watching it ever since then. And Tyler was still in diapers, smearing poop on the wall, but he has gotten into it.
Just because he had a rough year last year, we're not gonna.
I know. Listen, what do you mean last year? It's this year, but we're not gonna go.
2020's been rough on a lot of people.
The paint, you can do them a lot with poop and finger painting. But anyway, we're covering the show, and Beth has never watched it. This is her first experience, so we're kind of doing the show when she's watching it for the first time, kind of like how Tyler and I are watching RuPaul's Drag Race for the first time. And of course, we all watch Survivor, but I'm like a child. I forget things a lot. So Beth and Tyler have to pretty much hold my hand through every freaking Survivor episode, even ones we just watched that are new.
It's fun though.
Yeah.
Just,
If you
I don't know.
Yeah. I think that's it for tonight's show. Matt, thank you for joining us as always. And thank you for moderating the chat for us as always too. We love you here at My Weekly Meltdown, and you are welcome to guest on our show anytime. Always love to talk and argue with you.
Yeah, mention that as one of your patron perks. You could be sitting here too.
That's true.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a patron perk is that you can be a guest on our show. So definitely, I know some people are like a little camera shy, so like I want you to reach out to us and say like I want to guest, I want to talk about JT's letter next week, like that type of thing.
And if you're camera shy, you can always look like this.
Yeah,
like
Finley.
Like Finley.
Yeah, that's what everybody wants,
if
right?
you're not going to show your face on the show, then I have to send you a picture of my cat, and it will be your picture.
Yeah. Also, recently voted America's favorite house guest.
Yes, on our
we have to do a brand. We have to do a brand steal soon. That would be fun to do. But thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back on Monday to talk about Drag Race, and then challenge on Wednesday, Survivor on Thursday.
Well, Thursday's Christmas Eve, so we need to talk about moving some stuffs around.
Yeah, we'll post on social
maybe
media.
move this show to Tuesday.
We'll figure it out.
Like as a one, it's just a suggestion as your friendly chat moderator.
As your chat, you know what I'm saying. I can't speak, but yes, become a patron / My Weekly Meltdown, and subscribe to My Weekly Meltdown on YouTube. You get notifications when we go live. Follow us on Instagram and follow us on Facebook, and they've got their Twitter handles up in the little windows of their names. I'm at Summers, SOMMERS 1977. I don't really post that much on Twitter, but you follow me on Instagram, the.memphis.darling.
There you go. All right, guys. Everybody have a great rest of your evening. Stay safe, wear a mask, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye.